What's up? We got The Flash, Season 3, Episode 12, Untouchable. So this starts off with Wally and Barry training to test out if Wally can be fast enough to save Iris. So basically, we get the betting war between, they keep betting on Barry, Iris bets on Barry, Cisco bets on Wally. Actually, yeah, Cisco bets on HR bets on Wally. Caitlin bets 80 on Barry, and Joe's like, yeah, I'm not betting on. He's not betting on both of his kids. So yeah, so Barry's able to phase right through the window, right through the door, right through the building, causing him to win. And he's like, who's the fastest man? What's his name? And yeah, Barry's just shoving in his face that he's the fastest man. Like, come on, Barry. So yeah, so then we see them testing a dead victim who. So he's like, hey, maybe Star Labs can help you. So so she's like, hey, me. So she's like, hey, Bear. He's like, hey, Joni's coming with the steel to CC Jitters. Can you please help Matt? So they're like, yeah. So she's like, hey, Bear, can I talk to you? And he's like, yeah. He's like, see, the future's coming true. The owner of Luigi's, the people that they were just at, the owner said that the name was going to close and probably be open with a new name, just like it said in the future timeline. So he's like, hey, why don't we tell Joe that you're going to die in the future? And she's like, nah, let's not do that. He's already got some time with Seal. We can't just ruin that, or he'll just worry and cancel his day with Cecile. We've already been through this exact storyline before with Laurel. Why are Arrow Season 3 and The Flash Season 3 just redoing storylines? But with two different characters. But Iris is dead, but still lying to Joe is wrong. So then we see a guy named Julio Mendez, who we know as Captain Mendez in the Flashpoint timeline, who's a music singer, and some guy comes up to him saying, and he says, hey, can I shake your hand? And he's like, yeah, he does, but he mummifies the guy, and he's like, and welcome to the segment that I don't like. Them telling the audience that, hey, remember Flashpoint? Stop telling us that Flashpoint was a thing, remember? So they're like, hey, one of the other dead victims was a cop from Flashpoint who we didn't see in the episode. And the show has to remind us that he was a thing in the Flashpoint timeline. I just don't like I'm not saying the writers of this show are really trying to make fans educated, aren't they? By mentioning that Flashpoint was a thing. So so Barry's like, Captain Mendez is like, Julio Mendez, he was the captain, and he's like, he worked with the CCPD, and he's like, yeah. At Joni, and Joni's like, hey, you work at Coast U, and he's like, what do you miss about Central City? And Cecile's like, you're gonna regret this. And he's like, the one thing she misses about Central City is Kid Flash. He's like, Kid Flash is the one thing you miss about Central City. And Wally tries to be like, oh, come on, Barry. What do you like? Come on, Barry. If she likes Kid Flash, she likes Kid Flash. What do you like, Kid Flash? And she's like, he's brave. He's a hero. And Cecile tries to defend Barry by saying, come on, Joni. The Flash is just a show off. He likes taking pictures and he's like, hey, and he's like, what about you, Joe? And he's like, are you on Team Kid Flash or Team Flash? And he's like, I don't think, and I think both good. Even Wally tries to say, if you had to choose, which one would you choose? So then some guy shows up saying, Joe West, I knew I'd run into you. And he's like, do I know you? And he's like, of course you do. You're the one that ruined my life. Another Flashpoint thing. So, yeah. So Barry's like, hey Wally, why don't you go take care of it? Just because he... So yeah, but this is another thing that Joni will show. Then, so Wally stops the guy, and Joe's like, and Joni's like, hey look, Kid Flash is the hero. And I'm just like, Barry, couldn't you have done that yourself? I'm guessing you're trying to teach Wally how to be a hero, but you had to get Wally to do a job like you. And he also teaches Wally how to do the tornado hand thing. Oh yeah, so basically Julian learns that his name is Clyde Yorkin, and he's a meta that Julian created as alchemy, and now Julian feels even more emo about the reason. And so this gives Iris the opportunity now. So she's like, hey, I'll tell Joe. See, and Iris is like, yeah, you should tell Joe. So she tells Joe now that out of nowhere, this feels like left field, come on. And so Iris is like in the middle, in the last scene, she was like, ooh, Joe, I don't want to tell Joe that she's going to die because of the whole, about how he wants to spend time with Cecile and how he would go crazy. But now that he's about to die, she's like, oh, I guess it's time to tell him now. Left field. It comes out of left field that randomly Iris decides now to tell him that she's gonna die. So he basically tells him that when Barry threw the phosphorus stone into Speed Force, he saw him standing before Iris, Savitar, standing before Iris, and her and before Savitar. And Joe's just like, how long did you guys know about this? And he's like, a couple of weeks, Joe. He's like, you're just telling me now? This is his daughter. And he's like, I get why they didn't want to tell me, Barry. And he's like, I get why Cisco and Kingling didn't want to tell him, because they didn't know how much Iris cares about him, but Barry does. You should have told him, and you should have too. I agree. This is not something you keep from your father, Iris. That's basically what Joe said. I totally agree. Barry could have told him. Barry could have been like, I don't care what Iris thinks, and goes tells Joe. But they wait till him almost dying to reveal that she's almost gonna die. Out of left field. That's random. And because in the previous scene that I just discussed, she was thinking of not telling him, but then when he's about to die, she's like, ooh, I gotta get this worn out story out of the way. Do you know what made this scene great, Arrow? Because when Quentin found out that when Sarah was dead, he was really mad at Laurel. And that's what made the scene great. Because he was basically told her that she destroyed the family. And it was great because Quentin is kind of the best actor. And he showed how much he was mad at Laurel. But in this episode, Joe isn't mad at all. He's mad for like 1 minute and then he just forgives her off screen. Arrow did this storyline better. Even though that also was annoying, it did it better because it had more repercussions for the storyline of Laurel and Quentin's relationship. This is just, oh, he's mad for her at 1 minute, and then for like 1 minute, and then, oh, they're fine. Oh, I guess Sarah was dead, and Iris isn't, but the graveyard scene is still one of my favorite scenes from Arrow, because Quentin was like, there's no way you're going to repair this. They eventually did repair it, but anyway, aside from that great scene from Arrow, which I really enjoy, even though Arrow seems to be meh. But anyway, so Clive Yorkin busts into Iris' apartment while he's too fast to save her, and she gets touched till Iris is about to die. Wally yells at Barry yells at Wally for not calling him, even though you've been trying to teach Wally to do stuff on his own for like the half of the episode, and once Wally does something on his own, you yell at him for not calling you. this is so, again, out of left field. There's a lot of out of left field moments. So yeah, as Iris is about to die, they're like, hey Caitlin, can you take care of her? So she uses her powers, but Killer Frost takes over, and she's like, yeah, wouldn't that be for changing the future? And he's like, Caitlin, you're one of the strongest people I've ever met. You can win this fight. And it happened to him too, but he lost. But she can win this fight, so he's able to win. They're able to save Iris. Yeah, they're able to save Iris from dying. They meet. Yeah, so they reveal that again. War on unneeded Flashpoint expeditions. Seeing that there was these two cops. One is Yorkin's last target, Laura. And yes, Joe talks to her. I'm guessing they were friends at some point. It's never explained how. She just says, long time no see, Joe. And he's like, hey. Never explained how they knew each other. So, yeah, so Yorkin is able to cut off the bridge, but while he phases through Yorkin, basically just using his powers, and basically he's like, and she's like, and yeah. So we get Wally. So we get more. So the final scene of the episode that matters for the next episode is we see Wally phasing, but that's when Trajectory 2.0 Jessie shows up, and she's like, he's like, Jessie, and she's like, no, and he's like, what? And she's like, Grodd, he's got Harry. He's got him in Gorilla City. Earth 2 next episode. Yeah, I love Earth 2 episodes. So anyway, that was it. So that was a pretty good episode. Again, Flashpoint. Caitlin and Julian are a thing now. They're a forced relationship that doesn't really need to happen. Again, Caitlin just can't stop dating. First Ronnie, then Hunter, now with Julian. Like, who's next? Who's her next relationship that we were supposed to care about? Actually, I care about Ronnie, and I didn't care about Jay that bit. But who is the next character that we're supposed to care about who is with Caitlin? Who is the next one? But anyway, Flashpoint. They just cannot stop mentioning it. Yeah, this is the episode where they have to say, hey, remember Flashpoint's a thing, and then have to show a bunch of Flashpoint scenes that we didn't see because Flashpoint was a wasted storyline that didn't need to happen, but it happened, and it just keeps going on. Like they say, ooh, remember Flashpoint? Remember the thing that we wasted on? It's still here, even though it's not really here. Nothing. But anyway, that's it with this video. I hope next episode. I hope the Earth 2 journey on the Flash is way better than this episode, because I love Earth 2. It's great to see Earth 2. Because we know Grodd got sent to Earth 2 after Guerrilla Warfare, so now that Grodd has Harry, it's gonna be great to see Tom Cavanaugh play other than human resources wells. But anyway, that's it for this video. And I'll see you next time for No More Flashpoint Flash. No more Flashpoint. Please, Flash. I'm done with Flashpoint.